UPS. Alright, first of all, what is UPS? Well, UPS is an uninterruptible power supply. And UPS is used as a battery to maintain power in the event of a sudden or unexpected power outage when it comes to your computer. Basically, the UPS sits between the wall and the computer, so it's kind of halfway in the middle. There are two types of UPSs that I'll be talking about today. Two different types that you can purchase. First is the standby power system, and second is the online system. So I'll get back to these in just a second. First of all, how does a UPS work? Well, most computers in the United States use a 120 volt alternating current power supply, and it oscillates at around 60 hertz. What the UPS does, it protects the computer against sudden surges or decreases in the power supply. When you get these sudden increases or decreases in the power, it can result in your computer losing power. First off, I'll talk a little bit about the SPS, or the standby power system. This is The SPS constantly monitors the power system, so the power coming into your computer, and it constantly searches for interruptions. When it detects a problem, it'll immediately switch to battery. And in most cases, this will usually take less than a millisecond, so almost instantaneously, obviously instantaneously to us, it'll switch to battery. Sometimes SPSs are called line interactive UPSs as well, but most commonly they're SPSs. And these are generally the most common, so they're most common in homes and small businesses. And they're at least half the price of most online systems that I'll talk about now. An online system, in an online system, it's constantly providing power from its own inverter. And basically its own inverter is efficiently converting the direct current to the alternating current that the computer can safely handle. It does this even when the power line is functioning properly, so it's always providing its own power. Online UPSs are designed for environments where electrical isolation is essential. Okay, so this might be like military type things, hospitals, power plants, anything where electrical isolation is essential. So generally, it's not something you would use or need for your home computer. So I'm not going to spend too much more time on the online systems. So why use a UPS? Well, first of all, your computer job won't stop when the power fails. It's probably the most obvious reason. You're not going to be inconvenienced because your computer's shutting down in the middle of a job. And not only that, your computer doesn't have to go through the stress of a hard power cycle. So in other words, when you start it back up again, it's not going to go through the stress of having things not been saved and having to find everything again. Data isn't lost because the machine is shut down without doing a sync, or equivalent to a flush cache or real-time data. So in other words, you're not going to lose any data because the machine is shut down. Most UPSs are going to protect against 4 different types of power failures. The first would be voltage surges. When a voltage is stronger than normal in the power line, your UPS will kick in and allow your computer to keep running when it detects that. There's also the voltage sag. When voltage in the line is less than it normally should be, that'll also cause your computer to shut down, so it'll kick in then. If there's a total power failure, when a line goes down or a fuse blows, whether it be in your house or somewhere else on the grid or the building that you're in, and then when there's frequency differences in the waves, when the power is oscillating at something other than the recommended 60 hertz power. In terms of pricing, the most popular SPS unit is a 750 VA battery backup system. That sells for $70 at Best Buy. I went online, looked it up. That's the most popular right now. It'll allow for 10 outlets, 5 battery backups plus surge, but only 5 of those will be surge. And it's compatible with phone, fax, modem, and DSL protection. It'll save you money. It's power saving, so it's energy efficient, and it'll control the outlets automatically when they're shut down in order to idle the equipment to conserve electricity. It runs on 450 watts, and it will save your computer. It'll run your computer for up to 70 minutes of battery backup time when the power is lost. It also has a high efficiency charger for increased energy for reduced energy consumption, so it'll save. It has a PowerShoot file saving, and it'll automatically shut down software included. So, and it has a $750,000 lifetime equipment protection policy. So that is that's an SPS unit I looked at there. In terms of online prices, the cheapest online system that I could find, I went online and looked, was a 1400 watt rack mount 2U UPS, and that sold for 800. That was the cheapest. Most of the units that I looked at were well over 1,000. In fact, some were even in the tens of thousands. Adding it all up, so what does it mean? Well, most home computers need less than a half an hour backup time. The one that I mentioned, the most popular, gives you 70 minutes. That would definitely give you more than enough time probably to finish up at least what you're working on. You shouldn't need to spend more than $70. You can even get cheaper SPSs for around 30. Again, they're not going to give you as much backup time as a more expensive model. And if you choose not to use UPS, then everything that I read and learned about them, they strongly recommend a surge protector, as it's essential. As there's a lot of subtle voltage spikes and sags that come through your line, and it can also have the dreaded lightning strike that'll send a ton of voltage through your line. So I guess the way I kind of look at it is I definitely would recommend getting a UPS, having done this assignment, and I kind of look at it almost as a way of cheap insurance. If $70 or $30 can protect you from losing all your work and what you've been working on, then I think it's well worth the time and money spent.